One. Hello and welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis, and today I'm very grateful to be joined by Georgia Farrar. Georgia found me on Instagram through one of my reels or something. She gave me a follow and I sort of looked at her content. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. 26-year-old doing her thing, sharing recipes and talking about gut health and brain health and nervous system health and all these holistic things. I was like, this is pretty cool. I sort of sent her a message and told her what I'd done and sort of we're going to do a podcast thing, but we both got busy. And then I sort of messaged her again and we sort of made it happen last week with a phone call, which we probably should have recorded. So that was a pretty awesome phone call. To then make today happen. Georgia's got an awesome story from what I heard last week, and might be some bits and pieces that come up today that might be pretty cool, hopefully. Georgia, welcome to my show today. I'm looking forward to you sharing your story and sharing how you got to where you are now. You got a very bright future too. So just relax. It's okay. And you're going to empower a lot of people today. So Georgia, take the floor. Welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So my name's Georgia and I am almost finished my degree. I'm doing a Bachelor of Health Science and Clinical Nutrition. I'll be finished next year, and to be honest, that's pretty big for me because growing up, I definitely struggled with education and the educational, the system, because, basically I was told later on in life that I did have ADHD, and I never went down the medication path and stuff for it. I basically manage it with food and nutrients and a holistic approach, exercise, because there's so many different modalities that you can do instead of going down that route. Obviously for some people it's beneficial, but and obviously you got to listen to your body and what works for you. But yeah, so anyways, I'll be finished next year, which is really, really exciting because it's a really big achievement for me, with education and really struggling growing up. And basically a little bit about my story is when I was 16, I struggled with anxiety and depression, and I went down a pretty bad path. I had really bad gut issues, so I had a lot of bloating, a lot of swelling. Everything that I ate was aggravating my system, and there was a lot of inflammation, and it just basically pushed me to dive deeper into my passion, which is nutrition, and to find other modalities and alternatives in order to heal the overall body, basically, because my gut was linked to my anxiety was linked to my gut, so it was that gut brain connection that needed to be healed. So I went down a pretty bad path there, 16 to 18 years old, and I did see a psychologist for a few years as well, which at the time was very, very beneficial, but there was also a push, not a push, but a kind of an influence to going towards medication and things like that, which I preferred to take the natural route. And so anyway, so my so basically that's my why as to I was down that path, and it wasn't great, and I came out the other side, and honestly, if I was to look back at myself then and now, completely different person, and the things that I've implemented in my life have made such a big impact on my mental health. Yeah,
that's awesome. Wow, we go pretty, Georgie, I don't know if you've listened to my podcast before, but we go pretty deep sometimes. So we're going to open up that can of worms of the anxiety and that. So what was going on with 16-year-old Georgia? You want to tell my listeners and viewers what was going on and how you're able to dig yourself out of that place that you're in? Because I feel like we've all had to overcome something to get to where we are now. It's just part of the life's journey. So I guess, how did you get yourself out of where you were? Did you ask for help? Did you read a book? Did you watch a video? What was it that was or what was like that light bulb moment where you went, oh, I'm actually struggling here? Like, how did you get out of that as a 16-year-old?
So as a 16-year-old, it was extremely hard because I didn't want to open up to people and let them know what I was like experiencing because of that shame and all the stuff that was like around, just like opening up and mental health. And anyways, it was actually one of my best friends. I expressed to her that I wasn't like doing very well, and we were very, very close. And she actually reached out to my parents and then got me into seeing like a psychologist. So that was like my breakthrough moment, because if it wasn't for Bronte, it could have been really bad. So it's super, super important to obviously always, reach out and lean on the people that you have in your life for support when it's needed.
Really
But,
important, really powerful message.
It's definitely very, very important, and I've carried that on through like my life now, making sure that if I am in a spot where I need help, like just go and ask for help. But what was going on with 16-year-old Georgia? So obviously I was in the school system. I wasn't very like, I guess you could say book smart. Like I had no interests in mathematics or, history and everything. And I just constantly felt like I was kind of like pushed down, pushed down, pushed down. So I ended up going towards, not the best people in this, like, oh, how do I explain
The
this?
rebels.
Sorry. Yeah, the rebels. So I hung out with the wrong people basically, and I ended up in a really bad abusive relationship at the age of 17, and it was a very, very dark time, and that was kind of like that push of everything that unfolded.
Thank you for sharing that.
No, that's
Because
okay.
there's a lot of young women in those type of situations. So I guess for you to be able to stand up now and share, that's quite powerful and inspiring for someone listening. If someone's in a spot where you were, Georgia, what would be your advice to them to get themselves out? You might have already said it, actually, but we'll say it again.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I think the most important thing that you can do is honestly, like, just reach out to somebody, reach out to like your loved ones or, friends, family, etc., because it is so important, to lean on people in these kind of times. You can't do it alone, and that's like a really important thing to like, really do remember that you cannot do it alone. You need support when you're in a place where it's that dark. So yeah.
So then what started you off on the journey then to be where you are now? So obviously with the holistic food and all that sort of stuff, like what started you off on this path now to becoming, well, a nutritionist, which you already are anyway. So yeah, what sort of started that journey off for you?
So it was definitely like I always had a passion for food. That was for sure. But going through what I went through, I changed a lot of things in my life. So one of them was nutrition. Because when I would get really bad, like I was saying, inflammation and bloating and things like that. And whenever I was inflamed in the gut, instantly I was like anxious. So I kind of grabbed onto that link quite early on in my life. And then I realized from, not eating like the ultra processed foods and all the foods that are, prepackaged, high in sugar, fat, etc., and moving towards more of a whole food system, it had a really big impact on my mental health, and it reduced my anxiety by like 99%. So that was like my main driver, because I was like, I want to be able to dive deeper into this so that I can help people go from where I was to how I'm feeling and how I am now, because there is so much that you can do with nutrition for mental health.
100%. And there's like there's so much sugar and junk food out there like that. That's part of the reason why things are the way they are. People are getting hammered with advertising of the Maccas and the Hungry Jacks and all these shit foods, that there's any wonder why there's all this stuff happening right now, because it's not real food, as we both know. So obviously, how did you come to terms with the fact that like some of this stuff is like not real food? Like, were you eating this stuff before? Like,
obviously, like, going through the school system, the canteens aren't fantastic. There's lots of sugar, there's lots of processed foods, and your friends have it, so you want it, so it kind of goes down that rabbit hole. And obviously sugar is highly addictive. So like, even nowadays I see kids with slushies, like large slushies, and lollies and chocolates and all these things, and the impact that it has on an individual's like health, but their mental health, and especially at these young adolescents, like especially for like young adolescents, like they're in this stage where there's so many changes going on within their body. Like, it's the most crucial time to implement good nutrition. So anyways, I was eating a lot of that stuff, and and then moved to more whole food based.
Yeah. So what sort of started you off on the whole food journey? Because as we know, the food in the mainstream place where people get their food from is actual poison still too. I guess sprayed with herbicides, pesticides, and Roundup. Like, that stuff is super toxic. So did you learn about that mainstream food, or were you always growing your own food? Like, how did you get onto the whole food stuff? Because I know for me, I pretty much just learnt through different channels on YouTube and that how bad the food in the supermarket was. So I was like, all right, where can I source some locally grown, fresh, organic food? Because the food that I was getting was rubbish anyway. Even that was fruit and veg, it was still nutritionally deficient.
Yeah.
So how did you get down in that hole of, all right, well, the food's not that great, so I need to source some local food or your own food? Like, how did that all come about for you?
Yeah, so my mum, interestingly enough, so when she was in her 20s, she got chemical poisoning, and she literally went to the doctor. Her brain was swollen. I can't remember the chemical that she was using. It was a cleaning product.
Yeah.
And anyways, from that moment in her early 20s, she decided to have go towards cleaner products with reduced chemicals, or a thing called Enyo. It's actually not even chemicals at all. It's like a cleaning cloth. And she also started to buy organic foods. So my mum has always been into this kind of field in terms of making sure that, the food she's buying reduced in, sprays and etc., and buying organic. So Mum had a great influence on me, and she would always obviously cook like good homemade meals. But it was like, but when I wasn't at home and I was out at school, it was like different options. But it just kind of, I don't know, there was just a shift. It just changed. I just realized how much of an impact it was having on my gut and my anxiety, and I just was like, no, I don't want this anymore for myself. So like, I basically just took it into my own hands and was like, no more, and went down a path of healing. And I went and saw an integrative doctor. So she was a doctor and a naturopath, and she did like some gut tests on me. I had pathogenic bacteria, like overgrowth, and she helped me heal my gut. And she also had a great influence on me wanting to dive deeper as well into nutrition.
There you go. So you had a pretty awesome mentor as a doctor as well. So that's pretty cool how that comes about, isn't it? That's a pretty awesome story though. That's really cool that you're able to do all that through food though as well. Like, that's really big for someone in our age group to be this way inclined. It's not everyone's our way inclined, are they, Georgia?
No, and it's literally, it's one of the most important fundamentals. Like, it is our foundation for health. Like, the at the end of the day, it's like what's on the end of your fork. Like that's what's going to have a massive impact on your overall health.
Yeah,
So
spot on.
so important.
So obviously you're on that diet. So what would your diet look like now? Like what are you mainly? Like I know what you're mainly eating. I see it on your Instagram. But if someone's listening to this and they're probably like, "Oh, what's she actually like?" Yeah, what are you mainly? Obviously, it's organic, real whole food. But like, yeah, what are you whipping up for yourself?
So I do add a lot of variety in my lunch and my dinners, but my breakfast, to be honest with you, is the same every single day. I'm a little bit obsessed with oats. I think
see that actually. I have seen that on your Instagram a couple of times. Yeah, you got a bit of an oat thing going on there.
I do. I've had it going on for about 3 years now, and I am just like, it's just going to be my breakfast for the rest of my life. Let's just put it that way. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's actually helped my gut as well, big time as well, because it's full of fiber. So it's feeding, your microbes, and it's also got tryptophan in it, which is good for melatonin, serotonin synthesis. But yeah, so normally I'll have oats for brekkie, and I'll throw in some blueberries. I'll throw in like a nut butter, protein powder, cinnamon as well. And then for lunch, I'll have like a salmon salad with avocado, cucumber, tomato.
Awesome.
I love all like the Mediterranean type meals. And dinner's like really, it depends. Sometimes I might have steak with sweet potato mash and like greens, or I'll do like a buckwheat pasta. So I kind of mix it up here and there, but most, like everything that I do add into my diet is mainly whole foods. I do have like my odd things that I love, like my little banjo bears and stuff, but they just don't have like added sugar and stuff to it. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
That's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And I love how on your social media, like you're sharing your different recipes and different things that you're eating, but you are sharing a lot of oats though, but that's okay.
Yeah. I do apologize.
So obviously now, so looking back, so what's it, 13 years since you've like transformed out of that state you're in? You obviously look and feel so much better. I can't even know what question I'm asking here. I'm trying to ask you a question.
That's all right.
So it's been 13 years since you've started this like health journey. How do you feel now? Like you look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like obviously I still have my challenges, as does everybody. I probably would say like my biggest challenge at the moment is just creating balance within my life. But right now I feel pretty amazing in terms of headspace, energy levels, emotional state, everything. But I would just say it's mainly creating that balance. But we always have like little things that we need to work on throughout our life in different stages. Yeah.
So where do you sort of want to take this chat now, Georgia? It's sort of like been your story. Where do you sort of want to, where do you want to go now with it? We could talk about for a bit.
Oh, we could talk about, I've got some little things.
Here we go. Go for
it. So one of the things that like I'm super passionate about is obviously everybody knows because we've mentioned it, but the nervous system.
Yep.
And neurotransmitters and how food affects the way like neurotransmission interacts in the body. So with food as medicine, you can use specific foods to help with particular neurotransmitters, which I find amazing. So for instance, there's tryptophan, which is an amino acid. It's found in like turkey, eggs, cheese, fish, etc. But what tryptophan does for the body is it converts into serotonin and melatonin, which I'm sure a lot of people are aware, serotonin being the happy hormone and melatonin being your sleep hormone. So basically what I'm saying with all of this is food is so powerful. Like if you use it the right way, you can really create such a great change within your life with whatever avenue you're trying to, help. So yeah, definitely my favorite thing is like neurotransmission and educating people as well on how we can improve our neurotransmitter function through food. So, and the other one that I find quite interesting, I've actually got some information on it, but is dopamine.
Oh, yes.
So dopamine's obviously one of my favorites. Like I said, I was told that I had ADHD by a psychologist a few years ago. And with ADHD, it's like a dysregulated dopamine, how it works. So dopamine, just so everybody knows, so it's a derived tyrosine, which is found in foods. So there's many foods that contain tyrosine, like chicken, turkey, fish, cheese, nuts, etc. And just a bit of information on it. So dopamine is really important for our attention, our pleasure, reward system. And when it's dysregulated, we seek external sources of dopamine.
Yes, we do.
That might be, yes. So that's like people, like you'll see as well a lot of the time with ADHD, there's like, a lot of addictions and things like that. And that's all got to do with that dopamine, that dysregulated dopamine, trying to get that hit. And it's also seen, interestingly enough, within food and binge eating. So with dopamine, when you eat sugar, basically it releases dopamine and you get a huge splurge of it. And it's great for like that short term, but like in the long run, it's not good because it desensitizes our dopamine system, making it, not work as effective as what it should be. And a little fact about that with me, which is a really personal experience, is during my teen years, I actually also did suffer to a degree with binge eating, and I never understood why. There was a lot of obviously disconnection, but that dopamine pathway explains a lot of it. So
it's interesting, yeah, because a lot of us, like I talk about in my stuff too, like we're all looking for that instant gratification, instant dopamine hit whenever we're feeling stressed and sad and lonely and frustrated. It's like people put porn on, they have a drink of alcohol, they drink some coffee, like they do all these addictive things to like numb that pain, to numb that, to get that instant dopamine fix, to then be like, fix me, it might help me, or whatever it is. It's like we don't have that resilience, patience, and discipline, as you just said then, to be like, well, if we set about on this healing journey, we can actually overcome these things.
100%.
And we can turn our back on sugar and porn and all those dopamine things that we're talking about to then transform our lives. And that's pretty much what you're saying right there, is a lot of people are looking for something instant rather than playing the long game with it. People are, they want to be fixed now. It's not, people want things like now.
Yeah, like that natural dopamine system, not that short hit, basically.
Yeah, everyone's in the short term. No one's thinking or planning or wanting to heal long term. It's all about now. It's like,
no. So it's real. So that was definitely like a tricky one for me, going through that as like a young girl as well. Binge eating and ADHD, there's a massive link there. And also in terms of with food as well, one of my pillars of health when it comes to like mental health is connection, and how important it is to be connected. Because when we're disconnected, it doesn't just affect, one thing in our life, it affects like multiple different things. And it also affects how we also affect how you're connected, your like relationship with food, which is also another pillar.
Does that come back to your relationship with self though?
Yeah,
Like if you're disconnected from
100%. So
yourself,
if
then you're more inclined to like binge eat
yeah,
and do all these things because you're not, you don't like your self-worth
100%.
and
Yeah,
self-love. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And like it's like when you're in a disconnected state, like, you know, you're kind of a bit all over the place, you're not thinking clear, you're not making like decisions with clarity. So that's also like this connection, like reaching for these, you know, ultra processed foods, which are going to give us this dopamine hit, but then they're going to make us feel like crap later on. So it's a real cycle, and it's a real process of breaking down these pillars of health and trying to understand like your blockages, your setbacks, and really try and make these systems like really clear. So like what I mean by systems, I mean like, you know, your sleep, like your sleep hygiene, because obviously sleep affects us in so many different ways. And then making sure that you're moving your body, making sure that you're connecting with your loved ones, and yeah, just making sure that all these different things that contribute to our overall health and well-being are being served, so that it doesn't lead to, you know, arrows going everywhere kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's really powerful. I just want to know how like you brought all that into balance, because I know for me during my journey, I was out of balance with everything. So I was like drinking, partying and doing those things, watching porn and stuff, because I was so out of balance and disconnected from myself. How did you reconnect with yourself and find that self-love and self-worth to then stop the sabotaging of binge eating?
Yeah, so it's I actually have had a bit of a path.
We all have.
I ended up in Nepal when I was 22, I think I was, or 21. And I was there for 5 weeks, and I went there for my yoga teacher training, which was 200 hours. And that, I know it was big. And we did a lot of meditation there. We did a lot of breath work, and it was a really slow paced environment. And that was actually one of my like breaking points, I would say, as well. Like when I look back in my life, like what things really helped me to move forward, that was definitely one moment in the process of it all, because it kind of helped me to you know, take these different modalities and bring them back home with me and integrate them in my life here. So definitely some of the things that help me to stay like connected and grounded is I do meditate in the mornings at 5 a.m. I'll normally meditate for about 20 minutes, and I literally just put my phone aside, set a timer on, close my eyes. And at this point as well, I always make sure my phone is on do not disturb for at least the first 45 minutes of me waking up, because that's also got to do with all that dopamine and stuff. Just want a still mind in the morning, because if you set yourself up with a clear head in the morning, like your day is going to be so much better than if you had woken out of bed, your alarm going off, you know, messages, calls, and it's all just started. So you really have to ease into the day. That's one thing I would say. And I'd say another thing as well is exercise. Like that was the biggest thing for me as well. Very, very powerful.
Going to the gym,
it's so important, like pumping all the endorphins and just moving your body and being in a community environment as well. It's has such a big impact on our health. So
it does, 100%.
So there's two of the things that have definitely
That's good. I love how you incorporated, you've got like meditation and stuff going too. Like it's very, very important. It's not woo-woo, it's not crazy. It can actually like relax our central nervous system down, calm us down to be able to make clear decisions, to relieve the stress and the anxiety and all these feelings and let these emotions go during it. It's really powerful. Yeah, it's just like you, it's completely transformed my life as well. And I started adapting that into my practice too. But I'm interested in asking about it now. So with your meditation practice, there's a lot of guided ones on YouTube. Are you doing like your own thing? Are you doing some guided ones or a bit of both?
Yeah.
Like what's sort of, how does it look for you?
So what I usually do, I literally don't do any guided meditations. Like, no, I literally just put my phone on 20-minute timer.
Yep.
I sit there and I just wait till the timer goes off. So I close my eyes. I try to keep a still mind, but I'm also aware of like what's coming up. And what I'll do after the 20 minutes is I'll get my journal out and I journal for like 5 to 10 minutes of what's come up and then why. So I can have an understanding of what subconsciously is going on for me. And it also helps having that understanding of like what's coming up before it comes up and you react. So it also helps with that process of reactions.
Yes.
So,
a lot of people are very active right now in society. Yeah, I love that. I also love that you journal afterwards. Do you this might be a tip for you, but a tip for other people out there too. Do you journal what you're grateful for throughout the day? Like, do you show some gratitude?
I don't generally, not normally throughout the day,
or at the end of the day.
When I do journal, pardon?
Or at the end of the day, 5 like few things you might be grateful for throughout the day.
To be honest, I used to do it a long time ago, but I haven't done it in ages.
Okay.
But I should definitely implement that.
Because they say, well, gratitude's the highest frequency. So if you find some stuff that you're grateful for, I know it's a practice that I do, Georgia. I find 5 things that I'm grateful for throughout the day. You know, it could be the walk I took, showing up for myself at the gym, could be the sunny day, the ocean, being where I am now, could be something as simple as this really nice person served me at the shop today, said I had nice hair or something. Like, you can find 5 things. And everyone can find, even on the most shittiest days, people can find 5 things that they're grateful for. Because
100%.
I just think that's something we should all be doing,
Definitely. No, I will definitely start implementing that into my journaling.
That's good.
But another tip of advice as well with journaling, there was actually a stage in my life this year which was quite tricky navigating. I went through a breakup.
Yep.
And I was obviously in a relationship for quite a long time, and I lost myself a little bit through the process of being in the relationship, all because of my own doings. But another powerful technique that I started to do when I was going through this breakup, I was like, I kind of felt like I lost myself a little bit. So I started journaling, like, who is Georgia, what she's about, what I love about her. So that also really helped. Every single day I would do it, and it kind of helped me to step back into myself and reaffirm this is who I am and this is what I'm about. So
that's super powerful. I encourage a lot of my clients, because I did it myself too. I wrote a letter to myself stating the man and the father and the husband that I wanted to be in the future. So you're sort of manifesting that being that person. And that's a really good little tip for people out there. If you're in a bit of a rut, but that future version of you that's already quit that thing, that's already doing the thing that you want to do, it's already there. You just got to walk up to that person and say, hey, can I just be you? And it's through writing, through drawing, could be all these things. But there's a version of you out there that's already quit that thing, or it's already done, it was already healed, or whatever it is. It's pretty cool. It's pretty powerful.
100%. And that's the thing as well, the power of imagination.
100%.
Our mind doesn't understand from imagination and reality. So what you put in your mind is what your mind perceives as truth. So
correct.
If you perceive that you're, not great or consumed with a lot of negative thoughts, that's literally what's going to consume you and your reality. But if you change it,
no, I'm just loving what you're saying, because it's so true, because I preach the same thing. If you're stuck in all those things, then that's what you're attracting into your life, because the universe mirrors back to you your reality. If you're in a low state like that, that's what you're attracting. if you're saying those things about yourself, then that's what you're attracting in. So you're attracting in those things then people say, oh, life's unfair. Well, life's actually happening for you because of what you're putting out there. So if you're putting out love and abundance and wealth and health and taking care of yourself, then that's what you're getting back.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the opposite, then you're getting that back as well. And then you're saying, well, life's unfair. Well, no, life's not fair. Life's always happening for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I saw this thing, and it's like when you I think it was when you've lost like peace, you've lost the present moment. So it's like what you're saying with like finding the beauty and being grateful for so many things that are around you. So yeah, it's definitely like the power of the mind has, you know, it's incredible.
Because learning this information about the mind, Georgia, is completely like learning about how powerful even like our subconscious mind is, and learning about how powerful we are. Yeah, it's really interesting and really like awesome to actually know that we are so powerful and we can manifest and create the life that we want.
100%.
So take back that power and take back that control, you know what I mean? Like to be able to do that. And it's really awesome that you're 26 and you're sorting it out. It's really cool to see. And it leads to some more young women taking that step and following your lead.
Thank you. No, yeah, it's so powerful and so important, and you know, there's always so much that can be done. And I think as well, like this is just another like little tip of advice with like emotions and thoughts and things like that. Always remember that like this is your mind, and your mind can like it can play tricks and things on you. So it's really important just to look at it from a bird's eye view and go, yeah, this is an emotion, this is a feeling. How am I going to like you know, not let it consume me and move past it? So yeah.
Awesome piece of advice. So I guess we can wrap things up. We've been going for nearly an hour now. I'll ask you two more questions, and they're questions I ask my guests on a sort of regular basis. So if there was a young woman out there, Georgia, that's probably 16 to 26, might even be a bit older, that's sort of where you were at 16, what would be your advice to that woman to sort of like start their journey into becoming the best version of themselves, really?
I think one of the most important things that they can do is to really like I think it's important as a young girl to sit down with yourself and have an understanding of like what you love and what you want for your life. And because we all have so many, you know, amazing talents and unique gifts. And I think if you have a special, like if you've tapped into your special gift, I think it's so important to like continue to dive down it and always make sure that you have a good community around you, and never be ashamed to reach out if you need help. And yeah, that's the advice I would give.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome, Georgia. You've completely transformed your life, and you're going to step into helping many others transform theirs as well. I can see helping a lot of young women. So really, really powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all you've shared today. Actually, I did have one more question for you. Where can people find you? Because we've talked a lot about your content today. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so if you if you type in energetically.you, you can go to my Instagram page. I do have a website going. It needs a lot of work. And I will be taking clients next year. But that's where you can find me for now.
Yeah, sweet. Reach out to Georgia. She can help you. She's helped herself. So definitely reach out if you're feeling stuck. Check out her content. She has a lot of videos in there of that awesome birthing tree in that nature part where she lives. That looks really cool. She has a lot of recipes as well. She was in the ocean yesterday. I was in the ocean yesterday. She does some really cool stuff. So give her a follow. She has good recipes. And if anyone out there is stuck and struggling, please reach out and ask for help from me or from Georgia. We're always here for you. So thank you for sharing what you shared today, Georgia. I'm looking forward to part 2, where we can delve into some other topics that we spoke about last week that's a little bit more woo-woo than what we spoke about today. But thank you for coming on, Georgia. I really appreciate your time today. This has been the Breaking Free podcast.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for listening and watching wherever in the world you are. And I'll see you guys
Thanks.
again real soon. So catch you later.